Hey guys, Kid explains another Skull Servant deck. Why? I've liked this ever since I saw that card. Sorry for the angling, 'cause I'm trying to get rid of the glare, is because ever since I saw that card I was like, wow, automatically I could already make 8,000, cause Skull Servant was out and Lightning White, plus 2 of him in the graveyard. That's 8. So 8,000 right there. With additional 3, it could be 11,000 at most. So I'm just trying to see. A lot of people use Roll the Cree. That's fine. For me, people run 2 MSTs, Cold Wave, Trap Stun. Oh yeah, Black Rose. So having 3 doesn't really do it for me. I'm trying this out. I'm sorry, I forgot what your name was. Super Nail, something, commented on my video that I made a couple days ago on the King Servant. I had traps in it and so on and so forth. He recommended using Magical Merchant and having nothing but 3 Book of Life, Tragedy, 1-for-1, and Reborn. At first, when I did deck testing, I added 3 threatening roars just to defend myself. It worked okay, but I'm starting to use monsters as a way of defense. I mean, because Lightning White already has 22. But I'll just go through the deck list for now and go. We all know what he does. Pretty good. With her on the field, it's pretty good because you don't have to use his effect to remove his King Skull, Skull Servant, to keep him alive if he was destroyed by battle. She pretty much does it for him, and he doesn't get destroyed in battle. And then there's Wormhope. When he's flipped from an opponent's attack, you draw a card, and when you send it from the field to the graveyard, send 1 card from the hand to the graveyard. That's sometimes when I have Skull Servants in my hand, it's annoying. So having him have his flip effect is pretty okay. It's not bad. It's for me it's a plus because you draw no matter what. And you discard a card from your hand. Most likely useless junk. Not useless junk, but attack fodder. 3 zombie masters. He proved to be very, very useful. I mean, ditch one of the boosters, as I call it, to bring him out. Of course, you need a sink. Pretty abusive. I get level 9, surprisingly enough. Morphing Jar number 2. When people swarm and they attack this card, it pisses the living crap out of them. Because think about it. If you're using this deck, you'll have a monster face down no matter what. Except for Dasher. I use Dasher, yes. He might not be totally useful, but his graveyard effect isn't bad. But anyway, I faced a lot of decks, and that card is really abusive. It mills out your opponent's magic and trap and high level monsters like no one's business. So, really, really useful. Mizuki, obvious. You kind of need 3 of him. He brings, if she's out of play, put her back on the field, graveyard and graveyard. Pretty much what the effect does. Him, he special summons my King Skulls if I happen to draw them. Or my Zombie Master or Spreader when I need to emergency sick. Or bring out another Dasher. If I tribute a weak monster, like say one of the boosters, he becomes 31, and he becomes 1,000 more. So he's not that bad. I would like to put something else, but as of right now, I'm not sure what it is. That's why I'm making this video, so you guys could help me on that. Anyway, Card Trooper, really, really good. 3x3s are usually good. 19 if you destroy it in general and send to your graveyard, I draw a card. So he's pretty much a plus. The Legendary and Magical Merchants. This card is dangerous, in my opinion, especially for this build. The reason why we have minimal amount of spells and traps is to mill out all these monsters for that one card. So if I use up all of that non-monster cards, which is literally 6, I can mill myself out. Hopefully by that, since I'm flipping it on my turn, I would have 11,000 by that time. It's really, perhaps I should add, a couple traps here and there, or more spells. But, this proved to be really good, because one flip, instantly, he had 6,000. I was like, damn. And if Mizuki in the March ban list becomes 2, this deck would be 10 times more abusive. But moving on. Morphing Jar. Really good if you have a bunch of, Skull Servants, Lady in White, White Mare, or Death Dashers, and you don't know what the hell to do. Morphing Jar helps. Yes, it makes your opponent have 5, but once, King Skull is like at 5,000, your opponent could hardly do anything, especially when Lady in White's on the field as well. The only thing that could get him is monster card effects. I have yet to see, I'm pretty sure other people have, but Treeborn Frog. I mean, if I'm gonna mill something that comes right back to the field and help me out. This is one of the things I could totally put Glow Up Bulb if I had one, and pretty much get Formula Synchron and then Sync for with anything in here pretty much. But I don't have a Glow Bulb, and Glow Bulb is really good because I could mill a card. But for now, this is a really good defense. For now, it's not that bad. To be honest, I had 3 Threatening Roars and I replaced it with Treeborn, and my monster, because the more you run into Magic Trap, the less of his effect was worth it. You need to mill as much as you can before you hit a Magic Trap. When I had 3 Threatening Roars, it didn't really help. I mean, I used Shallow Grave, which is not bad. However, your opponent brings something back face down as well. But hopefully, mine was much better. With 3 Raikos. I was gonna put Charge Light Brigade. I might put it back. I am not sure yet. But thing is, I only have 3, and most of the time I mill my Light Sworns already. So, yeah. So 3 Raikos, pop backfield. Always pop backfield. Or that is unless Lady in White is not on the field. Usually I would go for the monsters, because the biggest problem with this deck that I have found is facing walls. It is hard to run over Marshmallow and Spirit Reaper, because there's nothing in here that targets. The only thing I could do is Morphing Jar him and hope that you don't draw him and put him down. Because seriously, this deck doesn't use Fissures or Dark Holes. It's just beef him up in game. Yeah. So, walls are really difficult to face. I don't use a wall because it's like a defensive aggro. That, and I don't have an extra one. But yeah, because when I want to put something face down, it's going to help me for the next 2 or 3 turns. But anyway, now for the spells. Giant Trunade, so I could, clear the backfield, pretty much hit them. 1 for 1, discard 1 monster in the hand, and bring out, King Skull. This would have been good too with, Treeborn if I had a Glow Bulb. But 3 Book of Life. As soon as I, Magical Merchant, mill, boom, Book of Life, bring back King Skull, and hit. Same thing with Monster Reborn. People like, oh, Gravekeepers will kick your ass. Like, not really. I just wouldn't be able to use Mizuki, or pretty much it. To be honest, it's not going to do anything unless they keep, yes, Zombie Master as well. Because what they're gonna do is pretty much roll tribute. All monsters are gone. Most of that will probably be useless crap. I mean, with Dasher, I'll just bring out another monster right then and there. Or him. Like he'll just keep coming back. So it's not really. If I get roll tribute, it's not gonna be a big deal, really. Especially, if he has at least 3 of his skulls in the grave, he will dominate, and will continue to dominate as long as I keep putting things in the graveyard. Because your opponent's gonna want to attack you as much as he can before you beef up your guy. You could take this as a great advantage. If they try to rush you by, trying to attack your monster, I sometimes leave Card Trooper on the field in attack mode. As soon as I do his effect, he's left over with just 400. They attack it, and they have their wall, Spirit Reaper or Marshmallow, Giant Trinated, summoned King Skull with 6,000, and all they had was, what's her name? I can't remember. I think Dimensional Alchemist. They're trying to chip me away. I had like a little bit of cards left. I didn't think I had King Skull left, but I had one in my hand the entire time because I like to save my ammo. But I forgot what monster or what it was, but it didn't really matter because I had like 6 of them in the grave already. And then boom, all that heavy work. Oh no, it was Dark Arm. I already had like 6 skulls or more in the graveyard, and boom. Yeah, so it's really abusive. I'm just gonna see. To be honest, I'm just gonna keep working on this deck until March ban list comes out, or what the rumors are, and then from there, after the list, I'll see what I can do with this deck. I want to take this to a locals and see how well it does. If you guys want to put your opinions, what you don't like, what you do like, what I should do, please let me know. We can only help each other for a better deck. So, yeah, Keenix plays out. Later.